All right. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Holistic Healing Network. Actually, this is the online gathering place, but it is hosted on the Holistic Healing Network, which is my YouTube channel. So, welcome. If this is your first time joining, hello and welcome to the online gathering place. If you are watching the replay, also welcome. And I hope you enjoy today's episode where we're going to do some live practice with journaling. So, just to give you a little bit of information about what we do on the online gathering place. So, every week I go live on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern, and we practice self care as far as mind body connection. And we do activities that will help reduce anxiety, boost mood, and calm the nervous system. So each week is a different activity. And tonight's activity, we're going to be getting some live practice with journaling. I'm going to be talking about the benefits of journaling for mental health, for physical health, for spiritual health, and we're going to be getting a little bit of practice. So, if you are joining live, I would love it if you would say where you're calling from, where you're watching from in the chat. And if you're watching from the replay, would love it if you would also tell us where you're watching from. And if you would like to go and grab a journal if you have one, or if you don't have a journal, that's fine too. Go and grab just some paper, something to write with, maybe a nice pen. Maybe you want to go cool and get some colors. Hello there, dialing in from Malaysia. Oh my goodness. Hello and welcome. I am actually in Florida, so Malaysia is a long ways away, but I'm so glad you are joining us tonight. So thank you. So yes, go and grab something to write with, and it can be anything you want. You can write with, I don't care, you can write with crayons, you can write with gel pens, pencil, whatever, something that you enjoy that maybe feels good to you as you're writing. I personally like to get colored pens. I should have brought them tonight, and I did not. I think they are buried in my closet as I just moved to a new apartment. So they're inside of a box somewhere, but I'm just going to be using my good old pen this evening. So grab something to write with. Before we get started, I'm going to go over some of the benefits of journaling and what we're going to be journaling about tonight. So, journaling is a really great way to release emotion. It's a great way to just get thoughts that might be stuck out on paper. There's really something powerful about writing something down, because if we have a thought that is stuck in a thought loop and we are doing what's called rumination, which means we are thinking about the same thing over and over, and we really just can't get rid of that thought. Oftentimes, doing a journal or doing what's called a brain dump or a page purge, as it is sometimes called, oftentimes that's enough to just get that thought to stop, just to get that thought loop, to interrupt that thought loop. There's something powerful about the process of putting words, putting hand to pen to paper. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And then we're going to share a little bit about our experience. Don't necessarily have to share what you journaled about unless you just would like to. But we're going to share about the experience. So I hope you have grabbed your pen and paper. I am going to get mine ready. And what I would like to do is we're going to put some time on the clock, and we're going to take a little bit of time and journal, and then we're going to stop and share about what that experience was like for us. I am going to try to share some audio so we can have some music in the background. If not, I was playing around with this earlier, and I wondered if I tried to share a video from YouTube, if I would get a copyright strike. So it's possible that I might not be able to do that. And I will try to play some music from my phone. So you may not be able to hear the music, but here's my suggestion. If you can't hear the music that I am playing and you would like to have some music going, oftentimes that really helps to get the thought process going. It helps to calm you down so you can get the words, you can kind of connect with your thoughts. Oftentimes, music will be a great way to do that. And I'll try to share my screen in a moment and show you some ways you can find some of this awesome study music or music to just help you focus. But one quick thing I would like to do before we get started with journaling is just to do some quick nervous system regulation. It's just a quick and easy method called tapping, which, if you've seen some of my previous episodes, you will see that I use tapping quite a bit to calm the nervous system. So I think that's a great idea for us to just spend a minute or two just doing some really easy tapping and getting our nervous system nice and calm and prepared for our journaling session. So let's go ahead and do that together. So wherever you are, just take your hands and rub them together. It's real easy like that. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Okay. Now what I want you to do is take one of your hands, the side of your hand right here, and just take your other hand and tap. This is called tapping. And we're tapping what's called the karate chop point, called the karate chop point. It's actually your small intestine. This is an acupuncture point, and we're just going to give it a little bit of stimulation. You can use however many fingers you want here. You can switch hands. All right, now we're going to go to the eyebrow point, just that point right here where the eyebrow meets the nose, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a tap. Gently, gentle tapping, making sure you're breathing in and out. All right, now let's go on the side of the eye there, temple. There's an acupuncture point called triple warmer, which is our fight or flight response. So this is a really easy way to get to calm down that fight or flight response. Is just to tap these points. All right, now go underneath the eye, right there at the top of the cheekbone there. Just give that a little tap. You can do both sides if you want, or you can do one or the other. You notice there that I'm salivating a little bit more, which is good. That means my nervous system is kicking in and I'm calming down. I'm salivating more, I'm swallowing. So it is kicking in the nervous system, the vagus nerve, kicking in and doing its job. All right, now let's do underneath the nose there. So right where your mustache area is. Got a little tap. And there I swallowed again. If you yawn, that's also an indication that your nervous system is kicking in. So that's a good sign. All right, now let's do the below the chin there, right where the crease is in the middle. You can get it at the side like this, or you can get it like this. Apologies if you hear the ambulance going by. I live right by a busy street. All right, collarbone right here, points right here, kind of where the collarbones meet, maybe just a little bit below that is the collarbone point. This is my favorite point for relaxation. You can either tap these points, or let me put that down a little bit. You can either tap these points, or you can just put a hand across like this. Or you can rub it. Just rub that point right there. And that actually should get you to swallow. should generate some saliva. It also helps with lymphatic flow, get your lymph nodes draining, or lymph nodes hold a lot of toxins, and doing this helps to release those toxins and get them out of the body. All right, and remember, you can also tap that point. The next point is the side of the rib cage. So for ladies, if you wear, your bra strap right there, or just a couple inches below the armpit, side of the rib cage, just give it a little tap tap. All right. I took an extra spontaneous breath there. So that means my nervous system is downshifting. So it's kicking in, doing its job to calm me down. All right. And then the last point is the top of the head. Tap that, tap the top of the head. Or you can rub. If you don't like the tapping motion, you can always rub the area, or you can just touch and hold and breathe. All right, so let's end by rubbing our hands together again, just taking a breath in. Okay, so now that we're nice and relaxed, hopefully, let's get our journals, and I'm going to give you the first topic that we're going to journal about. Now, there are no rules to journaling, which is quite nice. You can make it your own. There's no right or wrong. Just do whatever. There's nobody grading you. You don't even have to show this or share this with anyone. You can if you want, but it is not a requirement. So the first category when I do journaling, this is one of the things that really helps me when I need to do a page purge. And that is writing about, actually, we're going to split this up. We're going to split this up into two categories. Sometimes I lump these together, but we're going to split them up. So what I want you to do is journal. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And we're going to journal. Doesn't have to be sentences. It can be bullet points. It can be whatever you want. You're just going to journal about your resentments. What are some things that you're resentful about? Maybe there's someone you're mad at. There's something you're mad about. Maybe are you mad at yourself for something? A situation. This is a great time to just get it out, off the mind, onto paper. Doesn't mean you have to necessarily do anything about it. This is just a time to get in touch with that feeling. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And I'm going to try to share some music. We'll see how that goes. So let's go ahead and start writing and just brain dump about anything you may feel resentment about. If resentment is hard to get in touch with, anything like frustrated, angry, anything like that, irritables, or anything you're irritated at, and you just want to write it down. And we'll check in again in 1:30. Let's put this. If you can hear the music, hopefully you can a little bit. But we're journaling about anything we feel resentment. Right. Timer went off for the 2-minute mark. All right. So if anybody cares to share about what experience that brought up for them, or if there's anything you would like to share about as far as um, anything you might want to share or just get out, or just what that experience was like for you. You don't necessarily have to share details about what you're resentful about unless you would like to. But just curious what that experience was like for you. And if you're watching the replay, please feel free to also um, interact in the chat and let us know what that journaling experience was like for you while I get together the next topic. Okay, so let's move on and feel free to share at any time. Let's move on to the next set of journaling, next 2 minutes. This time we're going to journal about fears. I usually lump these together. When I journal, I do fears/resentments, but we're just going to do them separately. So I'm going to put another 2 minutes on the clock. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing about, we have someone sharing about letting out a bad decision made 2 years back. Yes, yes. Sometimes it just helps to, when we may feel resentment or shame towards ourselves, just acknowledging that and just letting it out, letting it go, and just bringing recognition to that. Sometimes that can be really powerful as the first step to release that. I know I dealt with a lot of shame this week for a mistake that I made this week, and I really struggled to come to terms with that. And it took me a couple of days to be able to release that emotion from my body. I did I did actually some verbal journaling. I recorded how I felt, and that's a great way too to release. It doesn't journaling doesn't always have to be about writing. It can be about recording. That's a great way to release. Is even if no one hears it, you want to send it to someone. You have someone you trust. That's a great way to get in touch with that. But you can also just record. Most phones nowadays come with a free recording app. I have one. I take it out and just talk into it. Just like I'm talking to a therapist, like I'm talking to a friend, like I'm talking to myself. It doesn't, it's okay to talk to ourselves. And then I will play it back and I will listen to it, and it will help me. Doing that process will help me to make sense of my thoughts and emotions. So that's another way you can do it. You can also do video journaling. You can film yourself. And again, it's not something you ever have to share with anyone. You can if you choose. But video, just getting that raw emotion and then playing it back and just seeing helps to process really. And also, I think seeing ourselves in that emotional state, and it helps us to give ourselves grace when we really just kind of take a step outside of ourselves and look inward from a different perspective. It really helps to give ourselves grace and self-compassion. So those are two alternate ways of journaling. So you got written, verbal, and audio, or audio and video. All right, I'm going to put another 2 minutes on the clock, and we are going to journal about fears. Just be things you're worried about. Doesn't necessarily have to be like major things. It can be if you would like, but it can be just things you're having anxiety about. In fact, maybe I should change that a bit. Fears, worry, anxiety, all the above. Anything that is causing fears you're afraid of, you're worried about, you're kind of thinking the worst about, maybe you're playing the worst case scenario through your mind. This is a great time to just purge it and get it out. You don't necessarily have to come up with a solution. Just kind of get in touch with that. All right, let's go for 2 minutes. Put some music on. All right, there's our 2 minutes for journaling about fears, worry, and anxiety. Does anyone have anything to share about what that brought up for them, how that experience was for them, or is there anything you would like to just purge as I get ready for the next category? All right. So let's go on to the next category, which is this one's going to be less of an emotionally intense topic. So this one's going to be about just a brain dump. We're just going to do a brain dump or to-dos. You're going to just brainstorm anything that's on your mind that you just want to dump it out. It could be you looking around the room, oh, or looking out the window, oh, a squirrel, okay. Or you know what, I got to remind myself to take out the trash. Things like that. Yes, thank you for sharing, Alkin, about self-image. Yes, uh, what the last category, the fears and worry and anxiety, self-image. Yes, that's a very common thing that we tend to have anxiety about is our self-image, how we see ourselves, what we think about ourselves, and can bring up a lot of emotion. So thank you for sharing that. I hope that just journaling about it took away some of that anxiety. Sometimes just acknowledging things, even though we may not be able to cure that and have a solution for that right in the moment. Sometimes just saying it, dumping it, has a certain power to it. All right, so I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock and we're going to just do a brain dump. So, whatever you need to brain dump, and this is a great time to do this at night before you go to bed when we have those thoughts rolling around the brain and we can't just unwind, we can't sleep. It's nice to have just a little journal in your nightstand by the bed. You can roll over and just, if you can, jot it down, just get it off the brain and onto paper. or just have that be a ritual, like a nightly ritual. That was a ritual I had for quite a while. Before I would go to bed, I would do some tapping, meditation, and then I would just get in touch with a brain dump. I would write down like things that I felt that I accomplished that day. I would write down things that were still rolling around on my brain, and that just kind of helped me to wind down and go to sleep. So this is that similar concept. So let's go. Let's put 2 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Mhm. All right, there's our 2 minutes for the brain dump and the to-dos. Hopefully that was a good experience just to get some thoughts off the brain. If anyone wants to share what that brought up for them, please feel free while I get ready for the next category. All right. So the next category we're going to do, we're going to start to get, we started kind of intense to get that off our chest first. And now we're slowly building up to like the good things, the positive things, right? Because we want to end on a positive note. We want to get out the junk, the intense stuff first, and then you want to end on a high note. So we're going to talk about, we're going to journal about our wins. So, what do you think has been a win for you this week? Positive things. What are some accomplishments? And write those down. That's a really positive way to get in touch with optimism and gratitude. So, all right. Well, thank you for sharing, Alkin, about you've been reflecting on your achievements and looking forward to next day's task and schedule. Awesome. Okay. It's great to reflect on our achievements, right? And that's what we're going to do here in just a moment. All right. So let's get that 2 minutes on the clock. And let's just take those 2 minutes and journal about what we feel like our wins and our accomplishments were. It could be this week, it could be this month, it could be whenever, really. There's no rules. All right. And that was our 2 minutes for journaling about our wins and accomplishments. Hopefully, that was a positive experience. Kind of gives you a little bit of a dopamine boost, and a little bit of maybe serotonin. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside because you're focusing on things that went well. You're focusing on things that you accomplished. So that boost of self-esteem and self-confidence. This is a great little habit to get into. And you can pick any of these categories to journal about at any time. You can make it a daily ritual. You can do it as needed. You can do just like a purge when you need to. You can maybe set a couple of minutes aside in the morning while you're having your morning coffee or breakfast or whatever it is you do in the morning to wake up. You could just have a little notepad and just jot some of these things down to start your day off right. And you could have an ending ritual in the evening, like I mentioned before, of just doing a brain dump right before bed, just getting out some of those ruminating thoughts, or writing down your wins and accomplishments for the day. When I was really doing a daily journaling habit, I was actually accompanying it with tapping, what we did in the beginning to calm our nervous systems down. And I would do that and then, do a journal. I actually had a really awesome journal. It's somewhere in my boxes because I just moved and I haven't unpacked my boxes. But it had all of these things. It had spaces for all of these things. So it was first you tap, get your nervous system nice and relaxed. Then you get out the fears and resentments, the worries, and then you talked about three things you wanted to accomplish that day. And then at the end of the day, you reflected. Did you accomplish those things? If not, that's okay. Maybe you carry them over for tomorrow, or maybe you journaled about why you think they didn't get done. Like maybe it just wasn't something that you ended up feeling like you wanted to do. Or maybe it wasn't a realistic goal and you need to revise that goal. So it's just a really great way to get in touch with, on a daily basis. It helped me also to stay organized with my thoughts and my emotions. And then I ended the session with a tap, which is what we're going to do. But we're going to do one more. We're going to end on one more category. So that one is going to be our goals for future. And this can be goals that we have for tomorrow. This could be goals we have for next week, next month, next year. It could be goals we have for our 10-year plan. Anything. The sky's the limit. Don't limit yourself. This is also a rule of thumb. That's the only rule really for journaling, is that there are no rules. Is that the sky's the limit and you can just let your brain wander and let it roam. And even things, if you don't know if you will ever accomplish them, if you want to write about your bucket list, write some things on your bucket list. What are some things you would love to do? Which that's also a category that we can do too, is like a specific bucket list um, journaling session. It's just writing down all the things you want to accomplish in this lifetime, whether you will or won't. What are some things that you would like to do? And you can do that in this session if you would like to, or like I said, whatever what we want to write about and goals for your future. It could be, tomorrow I have these and these to-do list items to do. Whatever's going to be the best use of your time and what's on your mind at the moment. All right, so let's go for those last 2 minutes. All right. Well, that was a quick 2 minutes, but yes, it was nonetheless 2 minutes. All right. So that was our last category of journaling about goals for the future. I would love to hear any thoughts about either this topic or just the whole experience in general of journaling. Is this something that you enjoyed? Was this something that was helpful? Do you feel that this is something you might want to continue in the future? Or is it something you're like, eh, not really for me? And that's okay too. Journaling isn't for everyone. It doesn't have to be liked and enjoyed by everyone. Some people love it and some people hate it. I personally do enjoy it, but there are times when I just don't feel like journaling, and that's okay. That's why there are many different things that we can have in our emotional self-care toolbox, and this is just one of them. Um, but all right, well, one last thing I wanted to share with y'all before we wrap up. I want to share a resource with you regarding journaling. Oh, hang on, we have a comment. All right. Yes. Tapping feet before sleep helps the grounding. Absolutely. As all of our nerves are focused and centered there. Yes. Absolutely. Just heard from a guru a few days back. Well, absolutely correct. Our feet, when we can get our feet in contact, when we can focus on our feet on contact with the ground, whether that's carpet or the floor or it's the actual earth, um, actual earthing is taking off our shoes and going outside and standing in the soil, standing in the dirt. And that actually is the ultimate way to ground the body for us to feel connected to Mother Earth as it is so to speak, feel connected to nature. But we can do that at any time, wherever we're at. We can just put our feet on the ground and just focus our thoughts on, what is the sensation of our feet connecting to the ground, and that will help the brain to hone in on our body. It helps us to get into the body, much like we did with the tapping. Just that sensation of tapping on the body, it helps us to focus on what's going on in the body. Um, it is an example of an embodied practice, so to speak, rather than dissociation. Dissociation is when we exit the body. Embodiment is when we connect with the body. So tapping the feet, yes, for sleep. It's a very similar concept to just tapping the hands. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's a great thing to do whenever you're feeling anxious. It's just kind of tap your feet gently, or just focus on what they feel like on the ground. Okay, so I want to share a really cool resource with y'all about journaling. If this is something that you liked and you want to continue, there's an online journaling app that's free. There's a free and a paid version. I just use the free version. If you want to upgrade for a few dollars a month, you can, and you have like all the bells and whistles. But I'm going to share my screen and show you. It's called Penzu. All right, I'm gonna share my screen and show you what it looks like. But this is an example of what have written about over the years. I've had this journal, my goodness, since okay, well, a couple years, 2022. And if you look over here on the left, it gives you an idea of all the different things that I've journaled about over the years. Prayers at the top, just things I wanted to pray about. One day I was just really upset and angry, and I was like, what the F is going on here? And I literally just titled, What the F is going on today? And I just bullet pointed things that had happened that day because I was just so frustrated and confused. Like, what's going on? Is it Mercury retrograde? Is it full moon? Like, what's going on here? And just that page purge was so liberating for me. I also wrote about my gut health, just to keep tracks of tabs about my health. I wrote about fears and resentments, and then I brainstormed about some video ideas I wanted to make. So you can write all of that in here. So you can, you write the title at the top, it automatically tells you the date, and then blah 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 blah, you just type. You can, make it a different font if you want. And like I said, you can get the bells and whistles and upgrade for a couple bucks extra. Then there's other cool things that you can do with it. But it is a free app called penzu.com, penzu.com. It also has an app so you can journal on the go. If you ever need to just write out some things because you're frustrated and you want to get them out, you can go old school and write them down, or you can keep it. By the way, this is password protected, so comes in handy if you are worried about somebody reading your journal. If you are afraid of having page and paper or journal sitting around and you want to password protect your journal, Penzu is a great option because you can password protect all of your entries. And it's free. So that's a great option. Hope y'all will check that one out, see what you think. Well, I really hope that this was a positive experience for y'all. I really appreciate you tuning in live and joining me and doing some live journaling practice. You can always go back and redo this anytime if you need some guided help with journaling. You can always replay this video. You can see all my past episodes of the Online Gathering Place on my YouTube channel, which is called the Holistic Healing Network. Actually, let me put that up on the screen for y'all. All right, so you can subscribe to my channel, the Holistic Healing Network, and you can turn on the notifications so it will notify you whenever I go live or whenever a new video is released. I usually release new videos every week, and I also do these live streams every week on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can mark your calendars. It's a great way to, as self-discipline, to schedule some self-care time, because for this 45 minutes to an hour, I do guided self-care activities. So if you're someone who struggles to make time for yourself to do self-care, or you don't know what to do, then tune into this channel, the Holistic Healing Network, or you can tune into my Facebook page, which is Holistic Healing with Leah Petrucci, or my Instagram page at Leah Petrucci. Either one of those. There are these available every week, and then all of the replays, you can go back and watch any of the ones that I've previously done, and you can do them anytime. This is just a great free way to keep up with your self-care and to have someone help guide you through what to do. So next week, what I don't know what is on the schedule for next week, but I'm sure it'll be great. I have lots of different types of meditations coming up, series of meditations. We're going to do some coloring. We're going to do some movement based activities. So I would love it if y'all would join me again next week, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you for joining and participating. And if you are interested in working with me as either a therapist, I am a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. If you live in the state of Florida and you are interested in speaking with me further to see if we might be a good fit for some mental health counseling, I'm going to put my website right there on the screen for you. If you don't live in Florida, you live anywhere else, and you are in need of a health and wellness coach, that is also something that I do. I have two virtual practices. So, as a health coach, I help people to meet their health and wellness goals or their self care goals. If they want to take better care of themselves, if they want to um, practice nervous system regulation, or just practice eating better or sleeping better or just taking better care of themselves. That is what I do as a health coach. You can check out more details about my areas of specialization on the website there, leahpetrucci.com. And then there is a link once you go into my website to schedule a free 30-minute consultation. I'd be glad to speak with you further and see if there's any way that I can help you. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week and good rest of your evening. And I will see you next time.